Hello, welcome to the COACHpreneur Journey podcast. Today I am with Giorgia Alioto with us, and as usual in our podcast we talk about all coaching. We introduce different coaches, we talk about the diversity of coaching, we talk about entrepreneurial aspects of building your coaching practice. And today, as said, with Giorgia Alotto. And Giorgia, can you share a little bit about you, who you are, what you do?
Sure. First of all, thank you. I am super happy to be here with you and to participate to your amazing podcast about coaching and coachpreneur. This is an amazing opportunity to share our passion for this marvelous discipline that is coaching. What about me? How I can start? So I am a coach, and recently I started to call myself a talent coach because I work on this topic, so talent topic, not as something that is proper of just some individuals, but as essential of every individual. So this could be a starting point of this of our conversation. What do you think?
Oh, okay, talent coach. So what I'm hearing is everybody has talents, and you help them to what? But anyway, we're going to maybe to discuss that later. For sure, we're going to discuss it. So it's about talent and you being a coach. You are based in
I am
Milan.
based in Milan. Yes, I am based in Milan. I am originally from the south of Italy, so I've been living in Milan for 14 years now, really a lot. But I'm originally from Sicily, that is in the south of Italy,
Mm.
beautiful island.
Yeah, beautiful island, delicious food. But that's
Yeah,
true for for Italy. But I always found when you go south of Naples, or maybe Naples southwards, it's
yeah, but
always paradise. Paradise. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Do you miss any of your Sicilian food? On
I miss a lot nature. Sicilian food, I'm cooking them also in Milan, but I miss a lot the nature side. I think that it's really relevant, the environment we live in. I see some beautiful plants here and on your window. Do you agree that the environment where you live is definitively an important thing for our well-being or no? What do you think?
it's an important aspect, and I'm in the middle of Jakarta, basically 5 kilometers from downtown Jakarta, the business district, and this is my little island here, so tropical banana trees and other things outside. So that is a little bit of, yeah, my enclave to recover and recharge from the metropolitan craziness here. But anyway, so it's not about me, but I agree. And the environment makes a big impact on many aspects, right? So maybe let's go back a bit and talk about you. What were you doing before you became a coach?
Hmm.
And what were you feeling or experiencing that eventually led you down this path?
I used to work just as HR or human resource lead for a super interesting company working in sustainability, a meaningful job. Huh? I'm still working also as an HR. But then at the point, I realized there was something more meaningful to me. I realized that the more meaningful part of my job was employee care and working for their development. That's been something really always present in me. If I come back to my university studies, academic background, I studied philosophy. I've always tried to find the answer to the question, how should I live? That is a philosophical question, moral philosophy especially. But I really found in coaching super deep approach, an interesting approach to find an answer to this question. Then we know that there are many different kinds and approaches to coaching. But for sure, if you had to, in a way, put in a box where I am, I would stay in the life coaching part. So, to answer to your question, it has been this kind of interest, something really always present in me. But then, after I started my career as a professional, I realized this kind of continuous effort, especially from really talented people, to achieve more, higher results, pushing themselves, and really high performing professional, talented one. But then, in a way, I realized that was not the answer to that kind of inner fulfillment they were looking for. Because sometimes talent stands together with self appreciation. And when
Mhm.
this happens, there is a kind of void, a hole in the individuals that then eventually leads to burnout and not a with high satisfaction career. So, my
Mhm.
purpose is to support people in the journey of staying in contact with their inner talent, their inner beauty, themselves basically. So, to balance this kind of continuous effort we have to achieve, no? Achieve more, do more, and be recognized from the outside. With an inner flame that is can be always active. That is the flame of inner satisfaction, self-awareness, self-appreciation. That is definitely what changes the game. I think in our path also as professionals, whatever it's the field we work on. What do you think? What is your experience?
Yeah, I cannot agree more that so how do I put it? So things are smooth until a certain point, right? Either straight from the beginning and then it becomes difficult, or in the beginning it's struggling and then it's always has its challenges. And of course, then we need to find different ways to overcome that. And yeah, and I also find it rather so I've always enjoyed the development side of things. So my personal development, and then even more than sharing that with others so that others maybe have an easier path or find an easier way of getting there. So sharing and development has always my part. But today it's not about me, it's about you. What was a specific moment or realization that you knew, okay, coaching is something for you and you want to pursue that? Was there a defining moment in your career or in
Definitely.
your
I was working in a company known in Italy. It's good to go. The name, super amazing, mission driven company, high results. And then I was working as an HR. As I said, I still work as an HR. I love my job. But then I realized my main interest was to support the moral, the well being of the team. A happy team is a team that performs super well. And you can also have happy teams that perform well for a certain amount of time. But then, I was really attracted by that part and really not caring a lot about the admin part. I used to consider that part really boring in my job. Then I learned to love also that part and to spend time listening to people and just listening, giving
Mm,
them space, giving them someone that hears you and it's there for you, whatever, in confidentiality, creates a change for the person, then for the team. So that was the moment when I realized, yes, this is what I have to pursue because this is my aim, my purpose. Everybody, I think, is really looking for purpose and meaning in our job market context. This, for me, could be found just if we are able to put together professional development and personal development. We can't think to do a job just for the salary at the end of the month. This is not going to work anymore. I mean, for my generation and the future ones, we need to have purpose. We need to have to find meaning in what we do. So this is where the value is found for me.
okay. Meaning, purpose, and making an impact, what I hear, right? So making lives easier and happy teams. You were saying that you are still working in HR. So are you considering yourself as an internal coach or are you an external coach? So who are your clients? What is your coaching?
Both,
Both.
both. I work as an internal coach, and by the way, I do believe that coaching mindset is essential in general, not just for coaches, but for managers, leaders. It's crucial, and every visionary organization has to take into account the importance and the relevance of developing a coaching mindset. I work also as an external coach with my private clients. And even if at the first stage you could think that the areas are really different, because with my private clients, I work a lot, for example, in relationship topics, a lot, romantic relationships, or arts topics. So professionals who wants to develop themselves as artists. And you can say, "Bah, it's completely different from your job." I find out that it's not so different. There is a fil rouge that is basically the self esteem and self love. So, what I realized is that whatever is the area that you want to develop in your life, you always have to start from within. You always have to start from your internal sense of who you are, sustaining yourself from from within to be then successful and recognized in the areas that you want to be recognized in. Could be your relationship, could be career, whatever.
Mm.
How does it sound?
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot agree more, right? So in my coaching practice, I face a lot of clients who want to focus on one area of life. So be it the personal aspects or be it the professional, right? When I'm working in corporate context, it's almost always a professional context. But of course, things are connected. So meaning what happens in our personal life impacts our professional life and vice versa. So that's why I feel that as a holistic coach, we need to address both. And of course, right, it's up to the client to which extent we want to go left or stay at center. But I always find it highly beneficial if you connect the various aspects. And I can strongly relate to the relationship part because work as teams and also even if you're just an individual contributor is always about relationships as well, right? The relationship with your peers, with your boss, with your right downline. So yeah, it resonates highly with me. So you mentioned internal coach, external coach. Is there, so when you decided to become a coach, were there any resistance that you faced either internally or externally? And how did you overcome that?
I have to say, no. In my case, there was just a super strong call. So I assessed various schools of coaching before choosing the school that then I followed, that is Morphosis coaching. And I was just trying to find the right one. So I was sure that was my path, my aim to support people. And then when I met Morphosis, it was like a whoa, finally. It was challenging then at the beginning, once I started the training to become a coach, because I realized that okay, to be able to support other people, you really need to work on yourself, and you are not going to hide from these challenges that you have on your own with your personal development. And at the beginning was scaring for me. Was, oh, am I really going to really work on this part of myself? I was scared. Looking back, it was quite a amazing journey of personal development ahead and in front of me. Because the other relevant part for me was okay, since I began to work on my development as a coach, I don't want to stop. I started to do the first journey and the second one, the third, and I started to notice how life really changes when we decide to change. So who knows? Maybe in 2 years we will do another review like this. If you will like to host me again, and I will tell you more about my future roads.
Yeah, for sure, that's a possibility because, as you put it, it's a journey, right? So our every development is a journey and it's not static. And yeah, why not checking in 2 years, see what has changed, right? That will be for sure very interesting. And so, what I have been observing while we are talking, for those who are not just listening to the audio version of the podcast, but also looking at the video in YouTube. So, when you talk, there is a lot of positivity, joy, happiness, and positive emotions in your face. So, you sparkle, if I may say so. So, that leads me maybe to my next question. Beyond the practical skills, what innate quality or characteristics do you believe makes you a particular effective coach?
Oh, this is a challenging question for me. You should ask to the clients. So I'm thinking about feedbacks from the clients to ask to your question. I would say the capability to really change and enlighten the perspective. That is something that I do work on also for myself. But every situation we are in, we have so many different ways to look at it. Can look
Mhm,
at it in really different way. And for me, it's crucial as a coach the capability to offer different perspectives, to look at the
mhm,
same things, to evoke awareness on the different possibilities that we have to look at the same situation, because sometimes the perspective could really change how we live in a certain situation. This is what I would say. I don't know if I answered to your question.
okay. Yeah, thanks. And I think it's a good mention feedback from your client. So for coaches, it's not us to decide, it's the client who decides, right? If we deliver value. And many coaches struggle with this, not in the fact that they don't know that, but in the fact that they feel maybe not good enough. So many coaches feel them, especially when they are new coaches, right? It's my experience, they feel they're comparing, right? So what level they would like to be or what they should to have. And then I think it's good to understand and to highlight from the very beginning that it's all about the client, and client feedback is important, right? Because if the client is happy, that's good. And if the client loves to work with us, they let us know, right? And that's a good thing. Thanks for bringing up this point. So you mentioned artists before, so maybe then I come to a more kind of poetic question here. So if you could paint a picture of your ideal client, who are they? What challenges are they facing? And what are they aspiring?
So, my ideal client is a talented and gifted individual, but then, as I said, for me, everyone is talented and gifted, who is struggling with perceiving his or her self worth, who is struggling with receiving recognition from the outside. Probably he's sitting on his own, her own, with his thought, thinking, "Oh, look at that person. I have nothing less than that person, but she or he are so able to express their talent, to be recognized by other. How, what is going to make this person able to do?
Mm.
And then the gap here is just perceiving who we are, expressing authentically who we are, and showing our gifts. It's not an easy thing to do. So this is my ideal client.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's on paper, so many things look easy and sound easy, and in real life, right, we're all facing the difficulties, and yeah, and I can clearly see what your clients might facing, right? So is this doubt, and then maybe you put all your effort in and then you don't see the results, or as you put it, you are not recognized. And I see that a lot also in the corporate context. People are not recognized or appreciated for what they are doing, and that's very valuable work and service you're providing for your clients. Thank you for sharing. What's the most rewarding transformation you've witnessed in a client?
Probably I'm coming back to the same point, but is okay. You have an example. One client once said to me, so at the starting of the coaching journey, she was struggling with relationship topics, self appreciation. She said, "Oh, I never say to myself, 'You are beautiful.' I can't believe it, can't feel it, not able." Then at the end of the coaching journey, it was a complex matter in terms of relationship, toxic one that ended in the end. She said, "Wow, I started to do sports just for the sake of feeling my body. Now I tell to myself, you are beautiful." And it was a group coaching session. She made us cry all together. We were all women because we could felt this kind of self-love and self-appreciation. It is something that lasts in the end. So this is the first example that comes to my mind to answer to your question.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful story. Thank you for sharing. In a world of no, in a world which is saturated with information and advice, what would you say is the biggest misconception people have about the value of coaching?
The biggest one for me is the fact that sometimes they think coaching is something like, okay, this is the recipe for achieving great objectives in your life and grow your performance and blah, blah, blah. But we know there are a lot of coaches that sell coaching in this way. So it's not their fault. So there's no something probably like coaching in general. To me, it's the opposite. So it's the other way around. Coaching is a way to unfolding what is already there, what is already your true essence, who you are, as I was saying. So to uncover who you are, not to fight for achieving incredible objectives outside there somewhere. I do believe that this is not going to work, while the other way around, yes. What do you think?
Yeah, so there is a lot of things, and I just had which come to mind, and I just had an experience the other day because I was on a different podcast as a guest, and we were interviewed, and there was more about leadership, and we talked, of course, about coaching because I'm a coach. And then one of the commenters left a rather a critical comment, and basically then I engaging in a conversation. What came up was it's like selling snake oil. And the problem, so I find the problem is twofold. So first of all, coaching is not protected, so everybody can call him or herself a coach, of course. So we are under the ICF, International Coaching Federation, which sets strong standards and both ethical and also from a competency perspective. So definitely we are not selling snake oil, and our coaching approach is also not telling and faking it in a way. What you were saying is that basically we maximize the personal and professional potential, right? So that's also in the definition of coaching of ICF, maximizing the personal and professional potential. So basically, you put it differently. You said, okay, it's already in there, and then we just allow the client to evolve and make it happen. And I think that's maybe one of the biggest challenges in coaching in general, that many people have a different understanding. The word is used in many different contexts. And the challenge I face, or most coaches are facing, is to explain the difference and maybe also take the suspicion out. So, like I just said in the example I've just experienced the other day, there's a lot of suspicion, right? And non-believers, right? And it's not about religion here, it's just experiencing it. And you mentioned already, right? So the experiential aspects of coaching. So,
And
yeah,
this is the reason why initiatives like this one that you are doing are really precious, because it gives the opportunity to people to find out, is coaching for me, and to understand definitively.
yeah, exactly. That's one of the reasons here for this podcast. And yeah, let's see if we can shed a little bit of different perspective and light into what coaching is. So coaches are constantly learning and evolving. What's one skill or area of knowledge you're currently focused on developing to better serve your clients?
Currently, I'm working in what? we can call the inner work.
Hmm.
I thank you to Morphosis. I discovered this super interesting. I have some books here. Publisher that is publishing the books of the Diamond Approach spiritual school. It's really interesting. There are a lot of elements from Western psychology, but also ancient religions, not dogmas, but concepts. And I find it really interesting for my own development as a coach. So I'm deep diving in it. Would love also to find out more because it's plenty of courses also live of this interesting school that is the Diamond Approach, but there are also many books available for who wants to have a look. So this is my main area of research, I would say, currently.
Okay. Yeah. That's a spiritual journey is always a difficult one, right? Because on paper, so I've read a few books, and what I found is that sometimes you read a sentence and it's clear, and then you just thought, is it clear? And then you go back, you read it again, and then you maybe understand the sentence, but how do I do that? And but so maybe for our listeners to understand, why is spiritual and personal development important? What is your perspective on that?
I could say a lot. So, first word that came to my mind is presence. We live in a world that is continuously under a lot of inputs, stimulations, and it's crazy the amount of activities that we are required to complete in one single day. So, attention, capability to be in the present is a crucial thing. Whatever is the work that you are doing, no matter what, you need to be really present if you want to be successful. So, first thing that these practices help me to develop for myself is presence. Then there is also a more deep understanding available of who we are. This is not a question that is going to have a complete answer once for all, but it's amazing how we can change the direction and understand what direction we are giving to our life when we deep dive in the question who we are, who we really are, authentically, not the persona that we used to show in certain context of our lives. We could do an episode just on these topics. I want to be mindful of the time.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, for me is about being more so presence. Of course, as a coach, we need to listen, we need to be present to the client, and it's also about consciousness, right? So the more I am conscious about myself, the more I can also be conscious about others. And for me, is also one aspect is from a spiritual perspective, maybe, and just to make sure spirituality is for me is not religion, right? Religion has aspects of spirituality. So from a spiritual perspective, is also to be with the client as the person is, right? Because there is a lot of judgment in the world, and of course, we must not be judgmental. And the more I develop myself in just being present and understanding different levels of reaching different levels of personal development, the more I can be with what is and what the client presents and play that back. Yeah, maybe that's my perspective into it. Where are there three words which describe your coaching style?
Three words, unorthodox. It's
Okay.
nice to say this to me because it was something that at the point came out in my trainings, but I love to carry it with myself. Authentic and instinctive.
Okay. Unorthodox, authentic, and instinctive. Okay, cool. Thanks. What does success look like for you in your coaching practice?
I have a track of success of my coaching journey with the clients. Then it's an ambitious one, but when happens, then I'm sure that okay, the coaching was successful. And track the measure of success is when the person sometimes happen they cry they say, oh, you really changed my life. I will never forget it. Okay, at that point I am sure that I did something for the person and the person is going to say to me, we did something together.
That's powerful.
Yes.
How do you stay motivated and inspired as a coach, especially when facing challenging client situations or personal setbacks?
I rely on the power of coaching. It happens sometimes. We are coaches, but we are individuals with our own challenges. And there are some days that I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, today I have to be at service. This is going to be challenging. But then when the coaching session starts, I am fully present with the person, with the client. I completely forget of my own things. And then it's incredible the good projection. So, what happens during the coaching for the client then is going to improve a lot also my own life day. So, I rely on the coaching power.
Okay, yeah, everybody. So coaches have coaches, and I
Yes.
think that's a misconception of many people, right? So they think, okay, coaches, they know it all. No, we don't, right? We are also human, and it's always good to have somebody who we can reach out to in order to do our personal growth journey. So what are you most excited about for the future of your coaching practice?
I am excited about the Italian Morphosis community that I'm nurturing and growing. That it's an amazing community made of coaches, people interested in coaching and in personal development. And we are creating this amazing hub of sharing inputs, ideas, paths together and coming together to support each other, just to have a safe space to express ourselves and to find people similar to us, to exchange ideas, inspirations, and energy. Most important, really needed. So I am excited to see the Morphosis Coaching Italy community to grow together with Serena Savini, that is my colleague, friend, and inspiration, constant one, with whom I work on the community.
Yeah, and I had her on the podcast as well. So her episode is already live. Yeah, okay, and cool. So, meaning now, if people are interested about the coaching community, about you as a coach, how can they connect with you? Where do they find you?
They find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and in my website. But the easiest way probably it's LinkedIn or Instagram.
And we are going to share this information in the show notes so that people can easily find you. So, what's one piece of advice you would give to someone considering becoming a coach themselves?
To start.
Okay, that's a simple one. But do you want
Jump,
to add a little bit to that?
to jump. Yes.
Jump. Okay, good. So it's as easy as this, right?
Yes.
And for someone who isn't sure if they need a coach or want to be coached, what is your advice here?
To give it a try. It's the easiest way to understand if coaching is for you or no.
Okay, just look for a coach and give it a try and see how you feel. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Georgia. That was a really nice conversation. I like the energy in the room, your smile, your positivity, your insightfulness. And thanks for being on the show. Thanks for sharing, being open. I wish you all the best for your personal journey, for your coaching practice, and as you mentioned, the Morphosis Italy community, that everything goes. I'm going to Milan in 2.5 weeks' time, so I'm looking forward to see you there.
Thank
Yeah,
you
so
for
I give
the
you.
initiative and hosting me today.
Yeah, you are welcome. Final thoughts? Is there anything which we didn't cover, which you want to mention?
I think we covered pretty a lot of topics today. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for your time and all the best. Bye bye.
Bye.